Oh! I love that. That is, I love that. All right. I'm excited for this. I love the two of them. They're so good. Right off the bat, I totally want to get into this. So what they're doing is a chord progression, but it's not just a chord progression. There's a melody on top, and we talked about this in the last Gene Shinozaki video that we did on this channel, but this is just so blatant, which is great because now we can talk about it. So this is a great way. I mean, in general, like if in music in general, you can do this, like. And then I guess this would work. There we go. So by the melody is actually like as simple as. That's the melody, that's the motif, right? The chords underneath it are just there to give harmonic context, right? So like this is just like really interesting, I think, right off the bat. If you are a beatboxer, you're so, or any solo vocalist, you're incredibly limited to what your harmonic options are. And so they do arpeggios, which is, you know, chords that are broken, right? One note at a time. So, but they're using different techniques to make it super, super, super clean and consistent. If I were to sing all of this, dum da da dum, that is not very even. I mean, it might sound even because I have a shit ton of compression on right now, but it's tonally, it's different. And in beatboxing, the bass is really, really important. So they go with the bass on the first note. They use a bass technique. And I want you to notice, this is how deep this goes. The one chord is home. Right? So, you know, whatever chord progression this is, I don't want to figure out by plunking on the piano right now, but like whatever chord progression this is, one is home, so they hit it harder, right? Listen to the first note of the first chord. Right? It's louder.
Like the legend of the phoenix.
Okay.
And now ends with beginnings. Yeah, what keeps the planet spinning? The force from the beginning. We've come too far to
nice.
give up who we are. So let's raise the bar and our cups to the stars. We don't for now to get sun. We're up all night to get fun. We don't for night for good fun. We're up all night to get lucky. We don't for now to get sun. We're up all night to get some. We don't for night for good fun. We're up all night to get lucky.
This is just straight up counterpoint. Oh my god. Oh man, this is just musically brilliant.
Play that violin.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Ooh.
The synchronicity.
Yeah. The intonation is great.
Synchronicity?
Oh! I love that. I love that.
We're up all night for the sun. Wait up for
Keeps
night
you on
for
your
the
toes.
fun.
Yeah.
We're up all night for good fun. Wait up for night to get lucky. That's
Man.
what I hear you say.
Oh, right. That's his other tune, which is amazing. Like, I think, like, harmonies like this that are just, like, basic, like, in thirds. But they're phrasing. And also, there's something in counterpoint called contrary motion. And this is something I think a lot of people struggle with who don't really understand music theory, but I think I can explain this pretty quick. So, conceptually, I don't think this isn't complicated as much as it is just difficult. So counterpoint is basically moving chords in a way that is more idiomatic of melody. So each line ends up having its own melody. So this is a simple progression, 1 4 5 1. It's as basic as it gets, except for maybe 1 5 1 5 1 5. But anyway, that's just kind of. I'm not going to get into that. So what you have here is a 1 chord, do mi so, right? And so if we were square and we're just trying to do chord, this would be a 4 chord. So this is 1 chord. This is now a 4 chord, right? Very chunky, and you might want that. That's very popular in guitar. You know, like you want to like power chords or whatever. But this is what we're seeing. Right? And then we have, so it's much less chonk. Now, because they're singing each line and not doing polyphonic, we only have 2 notes to represent all of these harmonies. So they will cover a lot of different notes to outline this. And so you really have to arrange in a very intentional way. This is extremely hard to just improvise. Like, even like the best composer friends I know, like, they don't just improvise this unless it's like on a piano. To do so with singing this, they'd probably like reference a piano, or they have to have trained it. Counterpoint, if you're not used to manipulating notes around on a chord progression, or you don't have like a static, like a go-to solution for standard chord progressions, this stuff is just going to escape you and you're not going to be able to put it in your music. So the fact that both of them are so on top of it when it comes to this is really, it's just refreshing, especially for beatboxing. Like, duets can do just so much more. So they're both outlining similar chords and then using melodic devices like suspensions, overtones. I don't have to get into that. It's just chords and melody at the same time together. That takes a lot of planning. That's not an accident, right? So, and this is something you have to have good chops to, at least like basic chops, to understand. And so this is, I just love seeing this in beatboxing. Like, this is just a straight chorale. This one's fun, but anyway, I could literally go through note for note, and you like, we're not going to do that because like I don't think anybody wants me to do that. But it's
I'd probably leave.
I think that the video would be over. But it's, I don't know. I think that's just a really compelling thing, and this is why I love Gene, and I'm becoming more a fan of Bigman, because this is the thing that they bring into beatboxing that is making it way more musical than I think a lot of people can bring, right? Like, I don't think a lot of people think about this stuff. It's also hard to get information on. Anyway, I stupid CTA plug. In the description, there's a Discord. I teach people whatever. I don't charge. It's just, come to the Discord, have questions or whatever. And if you have questions about this stuff specifically, I can get in more detail anyway. One thing I wanted to mention, if you're trying to learn counterpoint, but you're kind of intimidated about all the theory and all the solfege, a really simple way to start would be understanding two things: oblique motion and contrary motion. Those sound intimidating, trust me. It takes like 2 seconds to explain this. So all you need to know about contrary motion is it's kind of how it sounds, right? Say that's the thing you're doing, right? So contrary would be just opposite direction. And you will not have like parallel fifths or anything that might be undesirable or shaky when you have two people singing. Parallel fifths can very quickly turn into tritones. They need to be tuned very, very, very well. So generally people avoid them. And so the way to avoid that, any parallel motion, any notes that, go like this, right? They're all moving the same way, right? That's parallel. So yeah, contrary, right? And so what I just did is what's called oblique motion. So it just means one note stays the same. So if I do, right? So you can do a lot with that as well. TLDR, when you have a melody, kind of just hear where the direction is, and then just try oblique, try contrary motion, and that'll get you pretty far without having to learn like all this theory stuff. But I love that stuff too. Highly recommend you get into it if you really want to make music. Sorry to interrupt the video, just a quick channel update. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's beatboxing content. Then Tuesday, Thursday, that's going to be singing content. All right, thanks for paying attention. On to the video.